I'm your host today for this amazing show. It's a very high in demand show. Everybody wants to be sitting in the hot seat. We interview people from all over the city and also around the world that come here and want to talk about what they do, why they do, and how they're pursuing their dreams here in real time. And it's really interesting because we always hear these stories of how they're actively doing things in real time while we're in real time on camera. So as you're watching this, we are live. We're the only studio in the city that does anything like this. And just to recap, I know you guys have been following us for a long time. You guys have been seeing that we've been doing a lot of red carpet interviews recently. We've been having an amazing time being busy, and I know I always end with an announcement about how you can get involved either on the TV shows, in studio, or outward with any of the events. And you guys are listening, and we are so glad that you are hiring us to be a part of your amazing event, whether it be movie premieres, events, TV shows, or whatever it is. We are glad to be a part of it, and I will talk more about that after the show. But today is going to be a very entertaining and interesting one, something different than we've ever done before. You guys are very used to entertainers coming in here. We have magicians, singers, musicians, actors, models, photographers, but today we're going to go head into a different direction, and I am super excited for it. I don't know how this is going to go, but it's going to be absolutely amazing, and I already know that there's positive energy in this room. So when we come back, we're going to introduce you to our one and only guest for today, another VIP episode. I know you guys love these, where we stick to one person and we focus solely on them. So make sure to grab your lunch, grab your snacks, grab anything just so you can sit and watch this upcoming interview, and I will see you soon.
Traditional TV is going away. Hollywood is starting to fade. People are demanding real stories from real people. Our voices are now being heard in our own way. Podcasts, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok Live are becoming the norm. Internet TV has now reached the highest demand in human history. Social media shows is now the new media of the century.
Hi, I'm Deacon T with Modern Word Ministries. It's great to be with you today. Just a short little promo for our show. Every Sunday morning we have service, and you can follow us at 10 a.m. Pacific time on modernwordministries.org. And if you missed us or you want to see some of our older messages, go ahead and check us out on socialmediashows.com every single morning at 9 a.m. It's a great way to kick off your day, get a little bit of the word in you, get something uplifting, get you started off on your way. You know, if you're looking for prayer, or you need some help, reach out to us. If you go to our website, again, that's modernwordministries.org, you can interact with me via telephone, via DM, text message, whatever you want. I'll get right back to you. So if you need prayer, you need help, you just need somebody to talk to, Modern Word Ministries is here for you. We are your church in the community. So until you see you next time, be blessed, everybody. Bye-bye.
Now on digital and DVD.
Hit it.
Space Wars Quest for the Deep Star is an epic sci-fi adventure.
Do what needs to be done.
An edge-of-your-seat wild ride.
We have company.
Tons of popcorn-munching fun. 5 stars. A love letter to the sci-fi films of the 70s and 80s. With plenty of action and fun for all. You need to see it. You really do.
The captain just decided it's time to go.
I am ready for a sequel. Experience a bold new adventure. Space Wars Quest for the Deep Star.
A good old-fashioned adventure.
Now on digital and DVD.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the Hot Seat. I am your host Priscilla Moy, and we are live here at the Social Media Show studio. I'm going to jump right into our guest. It's been very interesting. We've been discussing off camera, and I can't wait to bring it on camera for you guys. So make sure that you are ready to sit for a very, very, very interesting and entertaining episode today. So this woman, for some reason, I happened to tell Maria one day in the studio that I wanted to switch it up. Like there's something calling me to bring people in to the studio that are different from what we've seen. We've had a lot of politicians, nonprofit business owners, we've had artists, but something drew me to more so the psychic, paranormal, people that are spiritually guided. And I don't know where that came from, but I just kind of looked, and this woman was the first one that came up. She is very, very, very well endowed in her craft. She knows a lot of things. She's a lot of history in that way. And so I would like to introduce Alicia Gutierrez, aka Cosmic, and then she also goes by Cosmic Divine on her social media. So everybody welcome her to the hot seat. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Love
you.
the hair.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you.
So we're gonna get into it. So this is interesting, guys. So before I came here, I felt a lot of different energies kind of on my person. Even starting last night when I knew that she was booked for today's episode, I could not sleep. Something just has been weighing, and I've met witches. I've met people that do readings, tarots, things like that spontaneously. But for some reason, something about Alicia, in a good way, I was really excited to have her in the studio because I think talking to someone who is spiritually guided and can see things that most of us cannot is very intriguing to us, you know. And so, Alicia, just welcome to the show. Welcome to the hot seat. First and foremost, you are someone, you go by like your psychic medium, but on your website you have lots of different services that you aid people with.
Yes.
Right? And coin tarot cards, mediums, things that people are used to, Reiki, and then, but you also have seances and how you cleanse homes, properties, couples therapy, twin flame readings. But the thing is that this had started when you were really, really young. Like
Yes.
your need and your kind of like your knowing that you have this gift.
Yeah.
So guide us through when you were younger and how that led you to doing this professionally.
Well, naturally, as a kid, these things back in the 80s, 90s, it was very tabooish. You don't talk about these things. I would not understand. I was very drawn to reading ghost stories or even buying my own a Ouija board at 8 years old. Didn't know why, but I decided as an 8-year-old, why do I need this thing? I bought it with my hardworking money, brought it home to me, and started using it. Just kind of knew how to do it. I just started talking, and I felt like I wanted to speak to something. And my father, who is intuitive as well, my family, I have a family lineage that are very intuitive but don't tap into their gifts. Have you ever heard of the term black sheep?
Yes.
I'm that black sheep. And so therefore I just started tapping into it when I started to get some horrific messages from it. I had an aunt be very afraid for me, and my dad took it away and threw it away. And I didn't understand. No one explained to me, why is that bad? Didn't understand. I just knew that I was contacting something, and that was it. As I grew up, I kind of just oppressed it because it made me feel like, oh, this is bad, so maybe I shouldn't do that. But I was still so very intrigued by things that go bump in the night. Hearing things, seeing things, feeling things. Why is that? No one explained to me. So these are things that I've had to learn on my own. As a child, you're guided. You're taught how to tie your shoes. You're taught, to take your vitamins, but you're never taught about the unknown. And that's something that a lot of us are still trying to grasp in today's age. It's more welcomed, but to a point, okay? And then I grew up, a lot of the times when I started to learn myself, I was a very depressed child. So I went through manic depression. I went through some senses of even being very vulnerable to, I don't like to say the word, but, I was very suicidal, because there's a lot of things that I was pulling in empathically and not understanding myself. So I went through a lot of stages of emotion. So therefore, moving past that, I started to feel things, having dreams and knowing family members that I didn't even know. So I would go up to family, do you know this person? And they will look at me in very suspense, like, what do you mean? Well, this is what they look like. And I had an aunt, be very cautious, like, well, this kind of surprised her to have that type of memory of someone who's talking to me. It ended up being a cousin that passed away from, I believe it was an overdose or drugs or something in that sense. And she just kind of looked at me like, kind of almost like scared, but in some senses she was very in tune to it because she understood. So a lot of the things that I've learned, who I am, it was always repressed and just kind of not talked about. I was always curious about, watching things on TV that are, have to do with ghost stories or just things because it was something very relatable to me. I understood it. So when, I saw those things, it was like I wasn't afraid of it. And as I got older, I kind of repressed it, put it away because I just wanted to be normal. And normal, being this is not normal. This is not a normal lifestyle. It's not a normal way of thinking. And I just, as a teenager, I wanted to be normal, So just hang out with the girls, like boys, hang out with your friends, do normal things. But inside, always knowing I was never the same. So I grew up a lot with my own learning. No one really sat there and guided me that way. So I was drawn as I got older to psychics. I got drawn to people who had that knowledge. I would look in different places and go to certain botanicas, or I would be in tuned with, going to get a reading from this reader, going to get a reading. So I was very in tune to doing those things as a young adult, but it was very private to me. I didn't go telling the world what I did because I felt that it was tabooish and I would be judged for it.
Yeah.
So
Did you have one moment that you remember as a kid where that kind of sparked your brain that you knew you were different? Apart from being drawn to, certain movies or TV shows or hearing things, was there something that maybe you heard or appeared to you that you were like,
yes.
like, Mom, did you hear, did you see that? Did you hear that? Or am I crazy? What was that?
I want to say I was a teenager, probably about 12, 13. There used to be a gentleman that used to come visit me on my bed, and I would be sleeping, and I would see this imprint, like if someone was sitting down in a bed, and I would sit there with kind of like chills. You could feel energy, and it wasn't a welcoming, but it was welcoming, and I didn't know what it was, and they would just kind of like caress my leg in some sense, and then it would disappear. And it came and went. It didn't just stay there. It came, it went, came. And that, when I brought it up to like my father, it was not something that, they wanted to talk about. These things weren't easy to talk about with my parents. And I think they always knew something was different about me, but who wants to talk about those type of things, especially to family and friends? That's just not a common thing.
Yeah, and on your website, you did say that you came from a line of people that are spiritual.
Yes.
Did you know because they spoke about it briefly and they blocked it?
Yes.
Okay, so that was something that they admitted, but then they
Yes.
just did not allow anymore?
My father admitted it to me later in life when he knew I was in tune with my gifts. This is not something we talked about when we were younger, even though he was into the supernatural. He liked the same things in some reference, but he didn't guide me in that way, because he didn't want to tap into it. He wanted to put it away. For me, it was the opposite. I want it, and so that got me into reading books and starting to go to the library and understand what certain things meant. We didn't have social media back then.
Right. So there have been a lot of people that either I've met, not intentionally, or, interviews that I've read of people who do express their gifts, that it can be very frightening if they don't know how to control it or channel it or even block it. Have you experienced going through a period where it was insanely scary, that you were unsure of whether or not you wanted to channel it? How did you block that, if you're comfortable talking about that?
Yes, I've had many experiences where I've tapped into things that, we don't like to mention on TV. We don't want to blame everything on this because I've learned that not everything is demonic. There is just some angry spirits. There is, other entities and energies, and a lot of people just like to categorize it as demonic. That's what TV, shows us. That's what social media shows us. That's what we're taught. But I did have an experience when I working at LA County Hospital. I was much older as I tapped into more of myself without any protection, without knowing really my gifts. I knew my gifts, but I wasn't like, oh, this is how you do it. This is how, from A to Z. I just didn't have that capability or the ability to understand still or grasp what I needed to do. So I was very open. I was just like, open. I want to know. Open. I need to know. Come to me. Talk to me. So I end up opening things that, like Pandora's box. And when you open Pandora's box, it's going to be there. And usually it's not always through on a Ouija board. It can be just something on your phone. And that's generally what happened. It was on my phone. When I was working at LA County Hospital, there are so many, events there. Life, there's death, and then there's the in-between. And I look at those type of places as passing places, stuck. People can get stuck there in energy. I opened up a portal and didn't know how to close it. And so therefore, I didn't have no understanding to why this is happening, but I brought these experiences home. And I had a gentleman pass away, I want to say not in front of me, but he was one of the nurses that worked there at the hospital. And I was the only one that was going to help him get to the senses of urgency of ER. And I was a security guard at that time, and I called for help, and I felt so engaged to help this man that this man ended up passing away. I felt very guilty. I felt very like this is my fault. I went home depressed. I went home with a lot of blame on myself, and just pulling all these emotions and not empathic, knowing that I'm empathic now, but not then. I didn't know I was empathic. I was just pulling. I naturally went to work pulling energy from the hospital every day and then taking it home and then carrying it. So just think of it as a heavy, I'm full of mud, full of dense energy, full of sad, depression, anger. And I end up opening something that started sleep paralysis. Now, a lot of people think that sleep paralysis scientifically is, that our body's reaction when, if nerve endings it's just something like a skip, But if you've ever had sleep paralysis, it is nothing like that. And it's almost a very terrifying nightmare. And I started to get those very terrifying nightmares every day to a point I didn't want to sleep.
Yeah.
It was repressing my emotions. It was keeping me up at night. I didn't want to eat. I was so scared. And then on top of it, I was living in a haunted house at the same time. So my sister's house was, I don't like to put her business out there, but we all felt it. We all knew it. And I think that just intensified everything. And later on in life, I came across a bishop that does exorcisms that clarified, yes, you are going through an oppression state. You are going through an attack. And that's what will happen if you play with tools that you have no knowledge about. But the thing that really triggered me to not play with these things anymore was hearing a very like a growl in the middle of the night that didn't sound very human. And I think I'll never forget that sound. I'll never forget how it made me feel. I'll never forget that experience of oppression and the paralysis and the terrifying and then just all these emotions. And I was depressed. I just wanted to run away from everything. And I think that was the most terrifying part of my life, is to have that type of attachment and not know how to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I just...
No, that's fine, because it brought up a lot of similarities to some shows that I do watch where they talk about exorcisms and they talk about how people experience things, and it always starts with night terrors.
Yes.
Even when you hear of children that have past lives for some reason, they lived a life where someone died of a really extreme event, violent death, or and they just have night terrors and they can't sleep. And so it's interesting that that is real.
It is very real.
And because a lot of people pass it off as an hallucination, you know,
Yes.
they go to psychologists, they go to therapists, they go to people who scientifically could try to explain
Yes.
what you might be seeing, and they write you off as, here's a prescription.
Yes.
You're crazy.
And you are crazy. And I claim that I'm crazy now because to me, it's part of who I am. I don't look at it as crazy anymore, but people and society will look at it because they haven't experienced it. And again, no one's telling them or explaining to them. And I think it's just very pushed under the rug. It's very much so. And if we brought it more to the platform of how to deal with these things, we would have possibly people who are getting rid of attachments, entities. I have a story for you about just going thrift shopping, simple things, just like daily, regular things we're doing. It's very real.
Yeah, so that leads to my question is, when you're in public, do you get overstimulated? Because if you're in a crowd, let's say you go to a concert, you go walk on Fremont, you go walk on a strip during the middle of the day, and there's people everywhere, people you don't know, that could have, they're dealing with things, or they carry weights, or someone from the other side might be wanting to speak, and you're the only person there that can come through. Or like you said, thrift shopping, I imagine you pick up an object, and someone's attached to that object, right? And what is that like for you? Do you ever feel compelled to go up to someone, like it's nagging you, where you're just like, for some reason, this one specific person, I need to go back, I need to tap them on the shoulder and say, this is weird, but...
I've done this to coworkers.
Okay.
and people that are in close range. Society is a whole different ball game. I can't trust a living sometimes nowadays.
Yeah, 100%.
I just kind of stay away because of the way the world is. You can't just do that anymore. People get very offended, you get upset, and then there you go.
Yeah.
There's someone getting hurt. I've learned to not do that. But as far as going out into society, I used to have real panic attacks when I was younger. I couldn't go to concerts. I couldn't be around family. It was just like this overwhelming sense of like, what's wrong with me? I wanted to be. I was emotional. I couldn't enjoy life. I couldn't smile. I couldn't laugh. I couldn't dance. I was stuck. I remember going to a nightclub here with my uncle and aunt, and he was into the field at that point of life when he was living here. He was a DJ, and he used to know everybody in the scene. And we went to a nightclub, and I said, this is exciting. I'm going to do this. So I get there, and automatically I wanted to hide in the restroom. I didn't want to be there. I wanted to be there, but I didn't want to be there. And I didn't understand it, and my aunt was like, what's wrong with you? What's going on? Are you okay? And I said, I just want to leave. And she said, we just got here. So I run to the restroom, and I cried. I cried in the restroom. I begged my aunt to take me home. At that time, they didn't understand me. They were just thinking, she's really got something going wrong with her. But they didn't understand. Now, my aunt knows what I do, and my family's very open. I'm so thankful that my family has accepted me now, because they saw me grow up with this, and now they're like, okay, we understand her now. But it was very hard growing up to not be understood. So my aunt, who went through that experience with me, she said she was sorry. She was like, I'm so sorry. I understand you now. I get what you were feeling. But back then, it's not known. So you can understand how people go through these things in society and not know what they're really truly going through. And why they do these things to themselves or have these outbreaks or outbursts, because no one understood them. It isn't always just, it could be a number of things, but that could be one of them.
Now, I know that you have a group of girls that you go around the country with, the Ghost Hunter girls. Yes, and so I know you guys go to specific places and you explore, whether it be rooms or homes or places that are very haunted. Now, is that difficult for you? And my question is, one place in town that I know people love going to, some don't get any reaction, a lot of people get reaction, is at Zach Bagans' museum, because he purposely gets items that he knows carry a lot of, not great, I would say more on the demonic side, energy, and he puts them all in there. And there's some friends I know that fainted going in there. Some people who are unaffected, even though they love that stuff, they're just like, I've gone there like 20 times. I've gone to the basement. I've gone to the room. Do you go to those specific places knowing there's something there, or do you go to places trying to figure out if something's there?
So the reason why we came together, I naturally feel the universe pulled us all together. We all met each other. I met certain individuals prior to just this event that we came together, and all the women on that team are very intuitive. They're psychic. They're natural healers. They're able to tap into the other world. And I intuitively knew I was going to be drawn to this group of women. I knew it, I felt it, and then it happened. And then it just kind of turned into something different. That, oh, let's go here, let's explore there. So being open to going to haunted places or places that have very bad energy, where they have a reputation for something very demonic or negative in sense, because of what I've learned and how to manage myself now, because I've had great teachers as well. Not always have been intuitive. It's been directed through mentors that have been brought into my life that have taught me how to use this tool or how to, clear my energy. So I have many teachers along the way that maybe I wasn't divinely guided to receive, but I've come across, and that was all purposely brought to me. So learning these tools over time, it's like another tool you add to your toolkit. And so going to these places, is it scary? I'm human. But intuitively, I know I'm stronger than that now. I know that I can release these things now. I don't go home with it. I purposely will cleanse myself before I even go inside my house. And then I do rituals for myself after the fact. I've been into a place that could be very dangerous in energy, or been known to be paranormally attacked, or bring things home with you. I know now what to do. And that's why I feel like, if you're also, it depends on your faith. Everybody has a different faith. I'm very spiritual and universal, even though I'm very pulled to different guides and deities. I've invited a lot of different energies into my elite team, and so therefore I feel protected. And I walk naturally, not just going into a haunted location, but every day, just going to work, just going to the store, just meeting people. I have to protect myself at all times, because I'm that easy to attract things. So, and as far as the Zach Bagans Museum, I've been there a couple times. I've done his Rest in Peace tour. The first time I didn't experience anything, and I felt like, okay, it's nice. It's cool. I got to experience it. Then the second time around, I actually went with some friends, and they came out of town, so they're like, oh, let's go. We went, and then I felt the attack. And then I was like, okay, guys, this is different. So yeah, I had been affected from that place. I had to leave the place, ground myself outside, and let the energy just be pulled out of me, and recollect and realign myself. And then I was like, okay, it's go time. Let's go back in. So I've been there, and I've experienced it. So for people who say they haven't had experiences, I mean, it takes maybe just that one time. You can go there 20 times, but that one time could be that one time. Maybe there was something like your aura was poked, and it was you were able to get affected.
Yeah, I was going to say, does it go alongside with how open and vulnerable you are going in there? So if you're kind of like, it's fine, it's not going to affect me, and you put that boundary, it's harder for whatever is.
Yeah, it's just like, you're being prepared, you're being proactive. There's a lot of, I don't know everybody's reason. I mean, of course, naturally, everybody wants to, he's a famous, paranormal investigator. They want to experience his experiences. Everybody wants to feel, there's a lot of skeptics, and there's a lot of people who haven't come across paranormal situations or paranormal findings or lived in a haunted house. So they want to experience it.
Yeah.
I want to feel it. And so I want to know what it feels like. And when you get that feeling, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I actually don't want this feeling. So it's got to be careful for what you ask for, is how I look at it.
And so as far as skeptics, have you met some that you've changed their idea of how they view what it is that you do for a living and what you experience?
Traditional TV is going away. Hollywood is starting to fade. People are demanding real stories from real people. Our voices are now being heard in our own way. Podcasts, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok Live are becoming the norm. Internet TV has now reached the highest demand in human history. Social media shows is now the new media of the century.
And so as far as skeptics, have you met some that you've changed their idea of how they view what it is that you do for a living and what you experience?
Yes. Yes, I have. I've come across skeptics. I feel that, I can't, make people believe me. I'm not going to push it down their throat. I'm very understanding that if they don't want to believe it, I'm not going to sit there and convince somebody, hey, this is real. But if I have met a skeptic as a client, very entitled to, I don't believe this, I'm just here because so-and-so pushed me to do this. So just in fact for readings. But when you get very detailed and personal things and you just know things that no one knows, it can make you question, how is this person doing this? How are they tapping in? And then you want to bring, the roles of God and the devil in it. And, you get the whole religion thing put in there. So when people say, oh, that's very, and I'm not here. I'm not here to affect religions or offend religions. But this is the topics that come up, Yeah. Oh, you shouldn't do that stuff, But people are intrigued. They want to know. It's naturally, we're all intuitive. Naturally, we're empathic. Naturally, we have gifts. So we're just like, this is why we're curious about people, places, situations. And tarot is just it's just another form of curiosity. So when I tapped into what they were going through, even if it was something that happened 25 years ago, how do I know that? I just met you. And then they go, wow.
Yeah.
So yes, I have turned some people that were skeptic into believers.
So as a medium, I know there's different mediums that experience different things, how people come through, how they channel messages from the departed most of the time. And sometimes it's through dream, sometimes it's through voices, it's visions, and then some people see shadows. What do you experience if someone were to come to you for medium services? Because I know you do more than one. But.
So mediumship started very young too. I'd hear voices and see things. And it would come more stronger as I got older, because I was trying to open up my third eye. I was trying to be open. So, and I was naturally just pulling things in. So, especially, you may hear this term spiritual awakening. Spiritual awakening is what helps enhance your intuition. It's almost like a death your body egotistically is going through, your soul's going through to evolve. So you might hear that term spiritual awakening a lot, that your body and soul, your soul is actually trying to enlighten, enhance to your calling, your intuition, different purpose. And so when people go through that, your intuition just kicks in. And it's not fun all the time, because if you don't understand what's in the corner, who's looking at you, it's scary. Why do I feel there's someone in the room with me? Or why am I, dreaming about this? Why am I having vivid dreams? Why am I hearing voices? So that's scary when you're not being told, this is what's going on and this is why. I've explained this to people. They're like, oh my God, that makes so much sense, Cosmic. You just helped me understand myself. People don't understand that. What's a spiritual awakening? I don't know. And these are the things that I feel need to come to the platform so people understand what they're going through, just like people who are going through some type of depression, we want to understand. So as far as being a medium, I just started to open up. And I think what made me really, really believe myself is someone I looked up to. And a lot of people may know who she is, and that's Patty Negri. When I did a seance with her, I felt like, okay, she came into my path for a reason. She came in, this connected, universe aligned us. I went to a seance at her house, and I was channeling like everybody at the table. And I was very amused with myself. And even though I knew I can tap in, but just to hear that from someone that is in the professional part of it, it was like, oh God, I got to trust this. I got to trust myself. And after that, it just kicked in. And so I didn't naturally add it to my services at first because you have to trust yourself. Not everybody trusts what they're receiving, and it can be your imagination. It could be just downloads which you're receiving intuitively in your mind. Not all the time are you going to visually see these things. It's almost like it's playing in your mind, and that's what people don't. That they can't negate what really is. Am I supposed to see things?
Yeah.
Or is it just in my head? And naturally, it will be just in your head. But naturally, some people can see shadows or auras, and that's just it. It's more or less like their journey on how they're evolving too. And so, as I tapped into that skill, I would practice with people online first. Facebook. There used to be a Facebook places that you can actually join so that you're not offending nobody and you can practice your gifts. And that's how I did. And then I started practicing on friends that, and then, for course, family. And then it just kind of opened up. And then naturally, when I would go to work, when I'd be around somebody, I was pulled to give a message. And I have done this a few times. But it was also, God, I don't want to do that at work because that's my job, And then it scares people. It's like, what are you talking about? So, I've scared people by passing messages, but also too, in society, the way it is now, I'm not that, like I said, I don't trust the living. I trust spirit more than I do the living, because the living are more scary than, attachments or, spirit, because they can physically hurt you. Oh, spirits can too, but it's a living. So I don't do that in today's society, no.
Yeah. So how can people know whether or not to trust a certain psychic or medium? Let's say they want to search for someone to do tarot cards, and there's so many TV shows like Long Island Medium. You have the celebrity mediums, you have all of these things, people that go on tour, people that say they have shops. How can people know if they're true and if they're
That's so hard to answer, because I know so many shops here in Vegas that I don't like to place judgment on people. And my own, how I view things is I don't place judgment on how they read or what messages they get, because I've had people bounce from one reader to another, which is true. When I come across those type of clients, I will actually do the right thing and say, you know what, I feel maybe it's not a good time for you to do a reading with me. Maybe we should stop, because then we get into this rabbit hole of what's true, and then they lose themselves. So how can you tell if you're coming across a true medium or a true psychic or a true reader? It's hard to say. I've had people get gypped, and that puts a really bad name on psychics who really are trying to help. So in the city of Las Vegas, you actually have to get your license.
Okay.
You actually have to get your license to work in a shop, because they're trying to control people who are getting ripped off, embezzlement, anything that has to do with, stealing money. So you have to go through a background check, actually, to see you're not a criminal, to see you're not, have any records on you. So that is one thing I do love about Vegas, is that they stop the I wouldn't say trafficking, but the bad name or reputation that tarot readers get. So I appreciate Vegas for doing that. It does help, people who are going into shops, they do have to get licensed for it. So they're not there, but I can't speak for everybody. There's still bad people out there.
Right.
There's still bad people out there. So it's hard to answer this, to be honest, because I'm placing judgment on another reader. But, the telltale signs of you coming across a reader is they're more in tune to money. I'm sorry to say this, but they're more about their money. And being a person that's here to facilitate healings and guidance and clarity and to help someone, this isn't about money to me. It's nice to receive payment because that's how we support ourselves, but it isn't about money. It's never been the end game. It's about helping someone. So if someone's more like, you got to pay more for this or you got to pay more for that, those are kind of, to me, signs, because it's happened to me. I'll just say that I'm saying this from my own experience, that it's happened to me and that I was being scammed. And we're vulnerable. When you're vulnerable and someone puts a seed in your head that this is going to happen and you have to do this, that to me is fear. You're placing fear into somebody. And I might get a lot of bad heat for this, but I've experienced it. And it made me believe, like, this is happening to me, you know? But honestly, some readers are just very forefront. They're just straight up, like, and not everybody's kind. Their energy can be very straightforward and intimidating. So I can't speak for everybody, but there is some out there that will just, it's just about money. It's about money. And I think that's where they get our bad rep.
Yeah. So I know you teach tarot cards. I know
Yeah.
there's something you do online, like a school that you do teach tarot card readings. Now, there are a lot of people that I know that, oh, I wish I knew how to read them. Do you think there's a certain type of person who can truly read them, or can anyone learn?
So naturally, it was for me, speaking for myself, and then I can go into other people. There's a curiosity, and then there's a natural wanting and a purpose. I naturally was pulled to it because it's the unknown. It was some form of communication, just like the Ouija board. It was naturally pulled to me. But at one time I was like, oh no, I don't want to be a tarot reader. I've heard the bad things about it on TV. That's scary. Especially they just have a movie on tarot right now.
Really?
There's a movie on tarot. It's some horror flick right now.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean,
Right.
you have your own opinion, but you know, it was a bad. You get the bad reputation of it. It's connected to the devil. It's connected to demons. It's not God's work.
Okay.
It's so you know, it's and then there's beliefs. Religion really does play a factor. So if your family's religious and they're against it, it will keep you in that closet. I want to call it the closet. You know, just like anything else when you're trying to hide something. I feel like a lot of people are in the closet when they want to learn, and they're afraid of what their friends or families will think of them. And I was the same way. And I was like, oh, what if they think this way? What do they think of that way? But at one point, I just had to say, you know what? This is who I am. I had to accept me. And now my family and friends, this is the cosmic. This is Alicia. This is what she does. And there is some people who don't like it, and but they respect me for it. That this is what I do. And that makes me very thankful, you know, even if they don't accept it. So as far as curiosity, because in the nowadays age, we are putting more, there's no filters on TV anymore. There's no filters on social media. In fact, we're on our TV and our phones, like I want to say 90% of the time. So we're influenced heavily by everything, and that's going to come across your feed, just like me coming across you, right?
Yeah.
So you got these young kids that are curious, and sometimes it's just curiosity, but then it's like kids like that were like me, you know. And then sometimes it's the trend, you know. Halloween is trendy, you know. The Day of the Dead is trendy, you know. Things that have to do with, you know, the unknown is trendy now. So it's a style, it's a fashion, and it's kind of put out there, you know, that this is cool. And so it's naturally going to influence young kids to want to tap into it. Do I feel that am I proud that these things are coming to the forefront? Yes. But am I also very leery about kids tapping into things they have nothing to know about? Yes. Because then there comes me having to fix it. You know?
Yeah.
So I naturally, some people are very pulled to it.
Yeah.
You know? And there's also this saying that, oh, you're only allowed to have a tarot deck if it's given to you. I don't know if you heard that. Social media says these things. I believe if you really are drawn to it, then buy it. You know, it's your guides or your intuition is telling you something there. But it's also learn about it. You know, learn what you're tapping into. Learn that this is a tool, just like the Ouija board. Learn that, you know, whatever's not on that other side is not always going to be a positive energy you're coming across. So this is why we need to learn to protect ourselves and open up with, you know, protection. But you're not taught these things, and that's how these bad things happen, you know. So naturally some people are pulled to it. But then again, it's mainstream nowadays, and I bought these, you know, and it's out there, you know.
Yeah, I've noticed.
So
Yeah, I've noticed the mini Ouija boards.
I have little
Great.
mini Ouija boards here, but it's out there, and it's a style. to me, this is not a style, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
This is me.
Because you've seen it for real, and people think that it's just kind of a statement. It's a fashion statement.
Yes,
it's
and
a trending.
I can tell.
Yeah.
I don't like to put it out there, but I
trending.
can,
It's how they want to like style themselves.
But you
like,
look cute
gothic.
doing
Oh,
it.
thank you.
I saw her and I said,
Thank
you're
you.
channeling me.
That's what I was drawn to wearing today. I was gonna wear something completely different, but I was like, no, this popped up, and I was like, I feel like I should wear this to match my
Yeah,
guest.
she got it right.
Yes.
guys.
So, okay, interesting statements all across the board, but you list a ton of stuff that you do, right? Do you mind telling our audience all the services that you
Oh
do
wow!
provide?
If I might
'Cause there's
forget
a
some,
ton
because
that people might not even have heard of, you know?
So I do regular tarot readings, which is just your general tarot readings that tap into anything, future, love, money. And that's generally the topic. What people want to know about is love and money, sometimes health, or their future. But I've learned to come across more than just that. I've come into learning how to help a couple form a more clear bond with each other. But that is kind of hard sometimes because not everybody's open to.
Yeah, you got one party.
And then if
open,
I
the
say
other's not.
something and it's hidden, and I bring it to light to their wife or spouse or boyfriend, they didn't know that. Then I just opened up a can of worms.
Yeah.
So I tell people, come to these readings with open mind. Don't hide nothing. And if you're hiding something and you really want to get something out of this, it's about being honest with each other. It's I kind of look at it as psychology through tarot. My guides are saying, you're doing this wrong, and then you're doing this, but you got to honor this. And then they go, you know what, she's right. And I've had people actually embrace it and move on and have a better connection. But then I've had people break up because of it. And that's what I feel like maybe it was meant for them to come across this. I don't know. It was put in my path. So I can't own that type of energy.
Yeah.
If they break up, it was meant to be. So then I came across twin flames, and it's very common to hear that now. And people are curious because it's out there. It's about two souls coming together as one. You've been connected from, if you believe in past lives, time after time. You've always come in reincarnations to meet up and help each other, to heal each other, and to have a harmonious relationship. Actually, they have a show on Netflix about it. So it's a twin flame journey. So you might have to check that out. It was pretty cool, actually, but it did have some cons to it. And I came across my twin flame, and twin flames are not an easy relationship. It's almost the most aggravating, annoying, toxic, or narcissistic energy that one has. And one wants to help heal the other. So you have this cat and mouse chase with each other. Runner, chaser, and you cannot move on past this person. You cannot let go of them. You cannot see yourself, even if you try. I've had people who have come to me for aid go into real spirals of depression, to suicidal thoughts, that I had to help guide them to not perform that. Even if I have to include get yourself some real help, I would say that, because I have to be I have to look at my common sense. Like, if I can't help them, maybe they need to seek real professional help. And I've guided people that way, you know. But there is people that have beautiful, harmonious connections. I've made it through with my husband, and we're here. You can't navigate. So because I've gone through that experience, I decided to help people through those experiences. And I also do, like, I've learned through my culture, you know, that shamanic path has come into my path as a healer. So I've naturally been pulled to, like, cleanses. And I did this when I was younger. I would go to a certain mentor who would do cleanses on me. Naturally, I was pulled to her. She would do cleanses on me. And when I got her blessings to actually move on in my own path, you know, that was where I came into, like, the intuitive knowing. I need to buy this tool. I need to buy that tool. Just like, you know, when you're a cook, you know you need to put a spice into a recipe. Well, that was kind of what I was doing. I need to use this herb, or I need to buy this crystal, or you know what, I need to you buy this certain item. And naturally, I was just pulling all these things into my toolbox. And then I started to perform them on, Spirit was just like, you need to do this on people. Do it on yourself. and then do it for others. So as I started practicing on myself, I started to know that, I was releasing energy. I started to feel better, alleviate depression, feel like I had like these invisible blockages on myself and I remember how she did it with me. So I was like, from her mentorship to my intuitive knowing, and then, reading, naturally I would be pulled to read things, but I'm like, I already know that. Like, I'm already doing that, So there's different tools I would start using. And then I started to perform them on people. I had to like be brave enough, like, okay, I have to add this to my things I do. And when people started to receive what I was doing, like as a positive thing and say it helped them, then I was like, wow, I did that.
Yeah.
And then I started to open up to house blessings, where you go into a house and, first time buyers, I want to bless my house with positive energy.
Yeah.
I actually am going to be doing that for somebody soon. And then I came across the not so fun things. There's somebody in my house. There's energy in my house. And this is where I feel in Las Vegas. This is why I like to go to clients' house. Not by myself. I have assistants come with me to navigate through the home to see where there might be stagnant energy, stuck energy, or if there is actually a presence in the home that needs to be moved out, or if there is something with the land that is tainted, because not always is it the home, it could be the land itself. And that's coming up to surface a lot more now too, is the land. So I started to perform, not just on homes, but I've done businesses. I've done homes, and people, items, and it's just naturally people will be pulled to me to do those things, resources. I've even done and performed, and I know this is kind of tabooish to say, but I've even done exorcisms. And yes, it's a very topic that you can negate. You can't do them because it's a clergy or a pope has to do it. So it's
thing.
Yes. So, but it's naturally embedded in me through my culture. This is what we did. This is how medicine women and medicine men took out those entities. Yeah. So I have to like sit there and go, is this something that I'm doing wrong? But then I've learned some things from some actual bishops that do exorcisms. They made me see like maybe not everything is demonic or hazardous. You have to scientifically pull in to not just the spiritual side of it, but look at it. Does this person have any health issues? Does this person have any psychological, like, is there something wrong with this person before you actually go do those things? Because you can hurt somebody.
Right.
You can actually hurt somebody. So I did learn some things from those mentors. So I had to sit there and think like, not everybody am I going to perform an exorcism on, but have I done it? Yes, I have. And it's not a fun experience. But seeing the aftermath of it, of seeing my client actually feel like themselves again, that's the gift. That's the blessing right there.
Yeah. Now, have you seen the other side? I know that's probably a question that a lot of people wonder.
Yes.
As humans, we're always like, what happens when we die? Or there are people that say, I've seen other dimensions. Some people put it
I feel like they are different dimensions. If you ever heard of parallel universe, like
yes,
we're in different dimensions. We're connected in energy, but in different dimensions. And they kind of show me that they're in this form of dimension that's no time, no space. They could be anywhere at once, everywhere at once. You can call grandma from the other side of the United States, but then auntie's calling her over here. It's almost like they can be in all places at once.
Yeah.
And so therefore, seeing the other side, how they show me. I've seen dark places that they show me, and I've seen some really bright places, and a lot of it is color. A lot of this is it's I don't see a body actually. I just see energy. It's colors that come into me, and these places show me. Some can show me dense energy, and some show me the memory of where they're at. So I feel like they're in a memory of where they've been stuck. If they died in this house, they're stuck in that place of purgatory or a memory is kind of how they showed me until they're actually released from that energy so that they can be out in the universe. I'm very universal. So
yeah, I can tell. So When you came here today, if you don't mind me asking, what is the energy that you felt, if any? I don't know if you always feel energy when you go someplace, or
I try not to.
sometimes. Okay.
I try not to because I want to be human. Because if I open
Correct.
myself up every day, I feel
It's too
like I'm
much.
just a walking, talking 411, and so
Mm-hmm.
I have to turn myself off. And yes, I do turn myself off because I just want to enjoy life sometimes and not have to. Because this is my life, my career, or what I do as a living. I do want to turn it off sometimes so that I can just be with my family.
Of course.
Or go out
course.
and have dinner. So yes, I
course.
do turn it off. I used to be an open 411. I've learned not to do that anymore.
That would be scary. I think I'm not, do what you do, but I feel like that's even in general as a human being, like, I truly believe in energies in general. Not much as deep as you go, but like, people's energy, whether or not I'm going to bond with that person. And so you just have like a no access box, right? So I can only understand if you're just kind of like, hey, everyone, let's all be friends, or let's all like, I want to get to know everybody. Like I'm drained at the end of the day after working with people. So I can only
You're
imagine.
empathic.
In that way you can go home, like it just takes a part out of you, whether or not you're working, not working,
Doing this for this is my passion. This is why in Vegas is really where I found myself. To be honest, I grew up knowing these things and experiences from where I'm truly from. I'm from California, so I grew up with the experiences in California, but Vegas is truly where I opened my gifts up.
Do you believe that you belong here, that you were called here?
Yes, and I've always been called here many, many times because I had family that lived out here. But I feel very comfortable here. I feel like it's helped me heal, and it's helped me know who I am, and it's helped me in many ways or forms, So Vegas is where I actually opened up myself up.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know you built your business through social media. You have TikTok, you have Instagram, you have multiple media channels, you have websites, things like that. But where are you heading towards in regards to business-wise, and what kind of legacy are you trying to leave behind here in Las Vegas?
Where I see myself or where I feel this is going, I'm letting my intuition navigate me. I'm kind of open, in this sense of like where I'm meant to be. It's that true calling. My true calling is to help supernatural stuff, paranormal stuff, help people, through these experiences. That's my true calling. I want to help people live a better life, a more fulfilling life, a purposeful life. Too many people are depressed. Too many people are hurt. Too many people are holding on to things. And so the true reason pushing me into this is when you lose something or somebody, it kind of like makes you open your eyes, like, wow, I should honor this more.
Yeah.
And I want people to honor their lives more and their time with their loved ones and just live a more fulfilling life. I feel like in the spiritual senses, when spirit comes to me, it's because they need my help. I know it exists. I don't have to prove it to nobody. Though it is amazing to show people, even if they are skeptic, even if they are just curious. I like to just kind of put it out there, like, this is this. And I have different, measures of connecting to spirit. It's not always just paranormal and going to locations. It's through, what I do on my website, mediumship readings, channeling. I do Reiki energy healing. I do corn divination readings. So there's different channels I use to help assist one's, assistance. And the more I grew into who I was, I learned more, I acknowledged more from teachers and mentors that were put in my path so that I go, oh, this is what I need to put on my website. So I like to say I know where I'm going, but I also allow myself just to be in present mode because not everybody's in present mode. And that's one thing so many people are hard to be in is presence.
Yeah.
It's like they want to be in tomorrow. They want to be successful.
They want to
now.
know the future.
Yeah,
they
want to.
know.
They want to be where they're not, and they can't enjoy what they have now. And I've had to learn that presence is everything. This is where the magic lies. This is where manifestation lies. This is where we can make decisions. This is where we can't make decisions from the past or the future. We know we do it now. Our choices we make in the now is what dictates how we're moving into tomorrow.
Correct.
So I like to say, do I know where I'm going in the future? I just let time and energy guide me.
Yeah. Now, this final question I always ask all of my guests, because it kind of sums up who they are as a person, no matter what they do. And is there a philosophy that you live by?
Do I live by?
Yes.
Is there a philosophy that I live by? I like a lot of Carl Jung's sayings, Frida Kahlo, those type of philosophies. My philosophy, I like to say that there's no time and space. Energy's everywhere. We like to put labels on everything. We like to sit here and put limitations on ourselves. We like to put ourselves in this bubble. This is where we need to be. And honestly, I've learned that if we just keep ourselves in one place, we're never going to meet that one person we should have met. We're not going to have that one experience we should have had. We shouldn't have fear. Like, I feel a lot of people live with fear and comfort. And I think sometimes we need to, like, step out of that bubble of fear and comfort, because you'll never know, like, what possibilities lie. Or just us coming together was open and a possibility. So my philosophy, I don't like to set, this is where I'm going to live forever. This is who I'm going to be with forever. I think if we're open and don't have expectations, we can most likely have a more fulfilling life.
Of course. Well, thank you so much for being
Wow,
here and
thank
being
you.
vulnerable with me and talking a little bit about what you do. Not a lot of people get into it. They just kind of keep it to themselves, or they think people might not believe them, or they just kind of are constantly questioned on their daily life. So if you don't mind telling the audience where they can find you and know a little bit more about your services and how to reach out to you if it's something that intrigues them.
So I'm only on social media platforms. I am found on Instagram at Cosmic Divine Divination. I have a link in my website there. I'm found on Facebook, Cosmic Divine Psychic Medium. I am found on TikTok as Cosmic Divine, and you might find the Las Vegas Medium as well. And if you're intrigued to get in contact with me for readings, house blessings, or just whatever, I kind of look at that as always divinely guided to you. If you're divinely guided to me, you're divinely guided to me.
Yes, that's amazing, and I'd love to have you back, because I feel like there's a reason why you and I clicked. Sometimes when we reach out to people to be on the show, there's a lot of people that agree, but then they don't go forward with getting on the show, or they just ignore. So it's always like, I feel like I'm meant to be when people actually go out of their way and they actually do make it on the seat. I reach out to so many people that want to be on the hot seat. There's many people that want to be here, many people that want to meet, but sometimes it just doesn't happen, right? But I'm glad that you made it here and that we were able to talk and meet, and you can kind of answer some questions that people might have, and me personally that I have just talking to someone normally, right? So thank you so much. And guys, I really hope that you follow her, you get more information on her. There's a lot of heavy stuff. I know some things that some people might never understand or they may not believe, but it's something definitely to trust in and maybe open your mind to people who can do these things. I mean, I'm fortunate. I don't have to live with that I always wonder what it would be like to be someone who has that, because sometimes that's just what you're meant to do and you can't let it go. So bless you for that. And congratulations on everything you've accomplished. And I hope that we have you back. So everyone,
We would love to be back.
Cosmic is here, the Las Vegas Medium. And when we come back, you know that I'm not done talking. So we will see you soon. Take a little breather, take a little break, take a drink, a shot, whatever you need to do, and then I'll see you back after the break.
And welcome to the next exciting episode of
Arena War.
Fresh batch of institutionalized gladiators fighting for their freedom.
Ready, here we go. You guys heard Perez?
Yes, smell that.
Get back!
Those on the line. The parole board has offered you a ticket out. Win Arena Wars, win your freedom. 7 arenas with 7 of the most vicious killers the world has seen in the last decade. You make it out alive, you get to go home.
Luke Bender, you're an innocent man. Innocent man can mean big ratings.
I'll be watching.
I think it's time to audition Mr. Bender.
No!
What was your last physical?
Cell block shower this morning. Oh, yeah.
You ready for this? Impressive showing out there tonight. You're the new fan favorite.
Are you with me?
Cutie pie back for the kill.
If you want to live through this, we have to work together. I'm watching you.
Smile for the camera, thug life.
Wow. It's showtime!
We have to finish this.
Come on! Hell yeah!
Doesn't sound much like rehabilitation, does it?
Got Films is a full-service production company that provides motion picture quality content and production services for use in the film and TV industry. Looking for a seasoned crew, high-quality equipment, or other production services for your film, TV, commercial, corporate convention, sports, news, or interview project? Your search stops here. Some of our projects include NASCAR, American Restoration, Pawn Stars, Counting Cars, Top Chef, BattleBots, Forge and Fire, and Street Outlaws. We have also produced over 60 feature films and documentaries. We're ready for all your needs. Whatever your project, whatever your budget, big or small, Got Films got you. GotFilms.com.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the Hot Seat. I'm your host Priscilla Moy, and we just finished a very, very, very intriguing and heavy episode with Cosmic Divine. If you guys want to get in touch with any of her services or learn more, please look back on the episode and look to where you can contact her on her social media platforms. She has so many different things made for everybody, whether it be mediumship, tarot card reading, seances, Reiki, healing, anything that you guys might be intrigued in or even want to have questions about, you can always reach out to her and ask her for her services. We're here to promote people's businesses and truly motivate and be inspired by what people bring to Las Vegas. Las Vegas is a city of so many different things, not just entertainment, what we're all used to, you know, stage performers, magicians, street musicians, all of that. There's more to Las Vegas and the community that we love to promote here on the Hot Seat. So we'd like to thank her for coming on the show. And as always, if you guys want to be on the show, please email your headshot and your bio to admin@socialmediashows.com if you want to sit here and have me interview you, promote your business, learn more about you as a person and why it is you do what you do so that everyone here can really hear your story. I'm all about stories. I'm all about why. And so I love bringing that out when I have guests on this show. Now, if you've seen any of our red carpets, we've been doing an amazing job keeping busy. We're here, there, everywhere. It's getting hard to keep up, but that's what we want. We want to be busy all the time. If you have an event, a party, a movie premiere, a film festival here or around the United States, we are open for traveling. You can email the executive producer Maria at admin@socialmediashows.com for inquiry, and you will talk personally with her about all the logistics of what it is that you're trying to promote or have us be on there advertising. We do red carpet events, so it's live streamed in real time. We do take pictures as well, so you'll get pictures of your guests on the red carpet along with the hosts while they're interviewing, and you'll have a host brought there if you don't have your own to be interviewing and promoting your live stream in real time. And hopefully you'll pick me to be that host, but that email is admin@socialmediashows.com. Anything that you want in regards to business, it would be admin@socialmediashows.com, and we will get back to you as promptly as we can. We get emails all of the time, and it is a one-woman show, so Maria will get back to you as soon as possible. And I really hope that you guys enjoyed today's episode. I'm going to end it here. It's just a lot for you guys to watch, to feel, to, you know, learn about, and it's different than all the episodes that you guys have previously watched on this network. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.